So a couple weeks ago, Patricia had asked me to address doubt as it relates to our practice. So that is what we will do today. We've done this some time ago, but it's always good to revisit it, and I wanted to come at it with a little different perspective this morning. And you will recall that doubt is one of the five hindrances to spiritual practice, to the path that the Buddha taught. And the other four, just for a reminder, are ill will, a sensual desire, sloth, which is basically laziness, and restlessness or anxiety. But doubt sort of is the biggie. And it has the power to either stagnate our growth, but somewhat paradoxically, it can also be a bonus because it can propel us into a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. And I hope to make the case for that this morning. So what I'm going to argue is that doubt can be both an obstacle or an opportunity, depending on how we relate to it. And I want to explore that dual nature of doubt this morning to see how it provides a roadmap for transforming it from a paralyzing force, something that just shuts us down, to actually a tool for freedom, a tool for liberation. And by exploring the nature of doubt, the qualities of mindfulness, and the cultivation of faith, which we'll talk about, we can really begin to transcend the grip of doubt and allow it to enrich our lives. You know, it arises in many forms, some of which are destructive, but others actually are transformative. So I want to distinguish right from the start between two types of doubt. The first one we'll call nullifying doubt, and that's the voice of fear. It's the voice of inaction. It leads to resistance. That's the voice that whispers in our ear, I can't do it. It's not the right time. That's not for me, or I'm too whatever to take this on. And this form of doubt, this nullifying doubt, can really paralyze us. It can make us give up on our practice, give up on our path, give up on our aspirations, give up on taking on challenges even before we begin them. Alternately, we have what we'll call questioning doubt, which is healthy skepticism. We use this is where we bring our discernment to the question to tell the difference when doubt arises. Questioning doubt is more like an active curiosity that inspires inquiry, and it fuels our desire to dig a little deeper and understand what's going on. Questioning doubt is not an enemy, but it's a catalyst for deeper investigation to help us loosen the grip of preconceived notions and complacency. In other words, loosen the grip of any kind of default that just we can't do something. Let me explore it before I come to that conclusion. So when we encounter doubt in our practice and on the path, it often manifests as a stream of thoughts. It will be coupled with subtle feelings of fear or unworthiness. This is really nullifying doubt. These thoughts and emotions, they cloud our mind and they pull us out of the present moment. But if we come at it differently, this doubt can be a source of understanding if we approach it with openness and mindfulness. And if we observe doubt as an impermanent process of the mind, we really begin to see its true nature. It is not a fixed reality. It is impermanent. It's a transient state. It arises and passes away like all mental phenomena. And this particular insight helps us disentangle from being overly identified with doubt, disentangled from the suffering that it brings. Because this transformative power that mindfulness brings to doubt really lies at the heart of the Buddha's teachings, as you know. And when we bring mindful awareness to doubt, we create space between ourselves and the doubting mind, and we don't get overly identified with the doubt. We approach it with curiosity like we would any other experience. In other words, we step back from it rather than be consumed by it. We observe it with a certain degree of detachment and loving presence. And this really describes the process, this kind of doubt, as a marvelous transformation where doubt becomes the teacher. Watching doubt with mindfulness reveals that ungraspable nature of the mind and provides us with an opportunity to learn more about our habitual patterns, our defaults, our habits of the mind, our resistance, our self-judgment. It opens the door to really look at that with some discernment. And it also grounds us in the present moment. It brings us back to what's happening right now. Because otherwise, when we get caught up in it, our mind scatters, we're weighing endless possibilities, we're ruminating, we're going on and on, we're sinking into indecision. But by returning the body with a sense of firmness and steadiness, we begin to stabilize the mind and see doubt for what it really is, an impermanent mental state, not an ultimate truth about ourselves, that I'm not this or I can't do that. And this grounding allows the confusion that doubt brings to begin to dissipate. It brings some clarity, it brings some freedom. So our mindfulness is critical to working with doubt constructively, but there's also the role of faith in overcoming it. Now, faith in this concept is not how we often hear the term. It's not a blind belief and acceptance of some creed or whatever. It's a deep trust in this path of practice and the possibility of transformation. It is an antidote to nullifying doubt. And this is the faith that Sharon Salzberg talks about in her book. You know, Buddhism comes at faith very differently than some other faith traditions. But we reflect on part of this faith is reflecting on the countless individuals who have walked this path before us, from whom we can take some confidence. Their lives bear witness to this potential for wisdom, for compassion, and liberation that exists in all of us. So faith is strengthened by recognizing the universality of doubt. Whether we're beginning a new meditation practice, embarking on a new relationship, starting a new venture, doubt is a natural companion to any leap into the unknown. I mean, if we're going into the unknown, and remember, we talk about that lack of certainty on this path, doubt's going to arise. It's just what we do. It's part of our survival. But by reframing doubt as part of the adventure, we can approach life with a greater spirit of exploration and willingness. And this shift in perspective helps us embrace uncertainty, not fear it. Embrace uncertainty as an opportunity for growth rather than a reason to retreat. And as our practice deepens, we find that our relationship with doubt evolves. Think about this concept of great doubt, a profound questioning that arises from the desire to know our true nature, to understand the meaning of freedom. And contrast this with small doubts that revolve around our abilities, our decisions. You know, the great doubt is a spiritual inquiry that fuels our search for truth. It asks, who am I? Or what is the end of suffering? Or, you know, how do I meet this challenge? That's a healthy kind of doubt. It asks us to pause and think about this. It's a form of doubt, is not a hindrance. It's a source of energy and inspiration. And it can actually move us toward insight. It can actually move us toward awakening. And this great doubt, as we're calling it, invites us to approach life as this great adventure. One that's free of limitations of certainty, free of fixed beliefs, free of foregone conclusions about what we can and cannot do. And it encourages us to keep our hearts and minds open. And I love that, because this allows us to live with that sense of wonder, that sense of possibility. So by embracing this deeper form of doubt, this more skillful form of doubt, we transcend those small ego-driven concerns that often dominate our lives. Oh, I can't do that, or why bother? Because we connect with a larger, more meaningful vision of what's possible. So learning to work with doubt in this skillful way is essential for this path. It's essential for living our lives skillfully. So whether it arises as nullifying doubt that seeks to undermine us, or questioning doubt that spurs us to deeper understanding, we embrace it. We don't get bogged down in nullifying doubt. We allow it to teach us about the impermanent and graspable nature of the mind. We observe doubt without getting all entangled in it. And we allow it to transform from a source of suffering into a source of wisdom. By cultivating faith in the path, by embracing this notion of great doubt, we move beyond fear and avoidance and resistance. We open ourselves up to the profound possibilities of freedom. So ultimately, I would suggest doubt need not be an obstacle to be eradicated, but a companion on the spiritual journey. It's how we approach it. And when we approach it with this kind of awareness, it can lead to liberation and freedom. So that's some thoughts on doubt this morning.